Welcome everyone, KD here. Today I wanna do a video tutorial about how to create human proportions for male and female without having any references or anything like that. There is a tutorial link down below. It's a lengthy tutorial from a guy named Daniel Kreuter, so don't worry, the tutorial is in English. If you want to create your character with a reference, he will show you that there, and he will go much further than I do in this video. This video is not about the details of the characters or so on, it's really only what you see here on the screen right now, the proportions, having the right proportions. My problem is that I'm not very good in 2D drawing, so I can't do my own references. And also, if you Google references, you often don't get pretty good ones, and if you find the right one, you can't be really sure, yeah, did the person that made these references really use the right proportions? So that's why I want to show you in this tutorial how you can create the right human proportions without having this reference, without having to draw something by yourself or finding something in Google, but it's quite helpful. I will use for that method that that is used in 2D drawing already. So I kind of adapted this method and changed it for 3D a little bit. And this is about measuring the size of your character's body in heads. A tutorial how you do that in 2D and from where and what I used to make this these proportions myself, measuring this proportion for myself, is also in the description down below, so you can take a look at that. Before we start, I have one more thing to say, and that is I didn't study 3D modeling or did I take any art classes or anything like that, so it's possible that not everything is completely correct. I took my information from the tutorials I told you and made this own and the whole progress here I made that up myself. So if you're an artist, if you have experience with 3D modeling and you think there is something wrong, you want to give a correction, or you would like give us additional information, please do that in the comment, so you don't only help me, you also will help others. Still, I controlled the things I did here in the past with already created meshes with skeletons I had, and it comes pretty close to everything I tested it. Finally, this is maybe a little bit a longer tutorial. I really tried to edit it down as much as possible, but still it is a little bit longer because there are a lot of information to give, and because we look at the difference between male and female, just so you know. But I really hope this will be helpful for anyone that tries to make human characters in Blender. So now we start a new object by pressing here on new, on file on new, and then reload. That's how it looks. Default, I like to press numpad 5 for changing the perspective. I like to work like this much better. You have to know for yourself. It's numpad 5 to change the perspective. Then on the right side you have this option panel here. You press on the one with the sun, the sphere, and the cylinder, and here you can change the units. I always change to centimeters. Why? because I will upload these things to Unreal Engine, and Unreal Engine uses also centimeters, so I have already the right units. If you upload to some other software, you may need another unit. If you work in Blender, you may not even in Blender only, you may not even have to change these things. So now I said how I do proportions without a reference is coming from 2D drawing, and in 2D drawing they use heads to define the size or the proportions of a character. So now in 2D drawing we have the problem that depending on the perspective, depending on how close your character is or how far away, he has always a different size. So this method is quite good to use for things like that. Now we have the big advantage that our character will always be the same size, and we have a camera can move to change the to tell how far away something is or which perspective we look at it. So because of that, we don't actually need to use heads. We can define the head size for our character, and with that we can go by numbers. So this is just a reference, but for an adult, you may want to use a head size in the range of 25 to 30 centimeters. So we can now just make simple maths. What does that mean? Male is around 7 head big. So if you have a male with a head size of 25 centimeters, we will end up with 7 times this high. That means 1 meter and 75 centimeters. What is for a Caucasian man more or less below average, I would say. Maybe for an Asian man it's more on the average, but for a Caucasian man it's more on the shorter side. And 30 centimeters we come to 2 meters and 10 for the final height of your character, what is definitely a quite big guy. So of course you can always go up and down, but just for a reference, between 25 and 30 is quite a good measurement if you have some average character. Of course, if you want to make someone that is extra big or extra short, you always can change the proportions through choosing the size. So what I do now is I define the head height, and that's right now 26 centimeters, and with that we come to 1 meter and 82 centimeters, what is a quite average size for a man. So what I do now is I can delete this square. I will add on the mesh a normal plane. So I will press Alt G to be sure that it's centered in the middle. Now that's important. Don't stay in object mode, go into edit mode. And here I press Shift and D. With that I duplicate the plane and I can move it around with the mouse. We don't want that. So press the right mouse button and the plane is still selected but centered again. So now I press G and I can again move the plane around. So now we just want to change in the Z axis the plane. So I press Z, and now below left corner you see how much we can change. We can change this freely. So if I go below we see minus, if I go below we see plus number, so I press now 26. So now we have two planes that are exactly one of our head sizes away from each other. So I press again Shift D, I get another plane and do the same here, and we have two head sizes. So like I said, the man is 7 heads high, so we have to do that. How many have we? 3 now, 5 more times. So I finished now. We have now 8 planes and 7 sectors that make our character's height. And when we look here, the dimension is in the z-axis 1 meter and 82 centimeters, what we wanted. So now we have to do something similar to our female character. I just went to another layer here, and I will check that everything is unselected. I will add a new plane, and we'll do a similar thing. However, a female a woman is more like 6 heads height and not 7. I would again say, as reference, take a height between 25 and 30, but of course you can go lower or higher. So what does that mean? With 6 heads and 25 centimeters, we are on 1 meters and 50 centimeters for the lower range, and on 1 meters 80 centimeters for the higher range. So you can definitely go higher if you have a bigger character, but just to compare with a male, normally a woman is a little bit smaller. I will go right now for 30 centimeters for the head size, so I get on 1 meter and 80 centimeters, and with that I get two characters that have the similar heights, just to compare them afterwards. Now I will do the same I did before, just with the 30 centimeter difference. So Shift D, right mouse, G, Z, and 30, and I will do that until I have 6 sectors or 7 planes. So after we did that for the male character and the female character, they are almost the same height, you see. We can start with the head. And for that I will add another mesh, and that's a UV sphere. So now you see that the surface, we don't want that because we see every polygon, every surface. So you can here under shading press smooth, and then this is away. If you have more robot or something mechanic or something like that, then the flat shading may be more the way you want to go, but here definitely smooth it. I press Alt G again. I have to go to wireframes to see my planes. Now we go back to edit mode. Always go to edit mode to make changes. I press S to go down with the size quite a bit, and here GZ I can go up and place it on the right place. So now this may seem strange, but I will do a little bit the head a little bit smaller than the head size we chose. Why? Because a head is not perfectly round. I will add a chin here, and then the head is a little bit stretched. It feels longer. So I will keep it a little bit of space here for the head. And we will do the same thing for our women character. I will do that later. What we now can do, another advantage we have above 2D drawing is we have some nice tools to make things symmetrical, and that's what we kind of want to do with our characters. I mean, most of the time humans are not perfectly symmetrical, but this is anyway more an ideal than the right thing. So I selected with B. I can make a square and select. So now I select too much, select half of the vertexes here on the right side. I press on delete and we get an option, and here we choose faces. So now we lost our half of our sphere. That doesn't matter too much. Here on the right side we have the wrench symbol here, that here you can add modifier. I select mirror, and then we have to mirror about in the right axis here. Yeah, and then don't so now we have the problem. If I select everything and go move it around, it's not connected with each other. So what I do now is pressing on clipping, and when I press G, it's now connected. So do that for men and women, and we have our head, or our first proportion, let's say it like this. So after we did this, we add a new UV sphere, Alt G to center it in the middle, then always go to edit mode to make changes. We go down with the size quite a bit, have to go down a little bit more. On this side, yeah, maybe it can be bigger. This will be our shoulders. So now we can go out of here and go to our plane here, and copy this one here, and we rotate with R and over the Y axis for 90 degrees, so we have it straight. And what we can do now is we take our distance, we have our head size with GY 20 GY GX, sorry, that was a problem, GX and 26. So why I did that I will tell you in a moment. So we can take our shoulder piece, we go into edit mode. Now a really muscular man, so most of us call them hero characters. They will have, as a reference, you can take the shoulder wide, 2 heads long, wide. So it would be okay if you have a really muscular guy to put your shoulders really on the edge of this line we just made. So we can create a really muscular guy. Otherwise you can go a little bit inside. That's also okay. This is for men. For women, I will take this. Sorry, I go to object mode. I will take this and move it to our female character. So also, what I have to say, the shoulders are a little bit below Sorry about that. We go now to our female character here. It will be a little bit different. With women, the reference you can take is if she has really a small shoulder wide, it will be connect a half ahead the inner side of the shoulders. So if you would make a line here, it will be in contact with the head and with the inner side of the shoulders. Of course, we always have to go into edit mode. This would be really smaller side, so I will go a little bit out. That's okay. It's just a reference. Maybe don't go almost 2 heads outside. Is maybe the maximum for a really strong girl. If you want 1 head. And again, we have to go a little bit below because of the neck. Next thing we do is we do the torso. First with the man. This time I will add a new mesh, but a cube. So now I'm going out of the wireframe mode. So we added here the cube, Alt G to center it. We go into edit mode. Now with Ctrl R, you can make these lines in the center. To center it, press the right mouse. It will automatically center it. Then press Ctrl R again. We also want a line here and a line here. So every side of the cube has now 4 planes. And now again, I press Z. I select all the planes here. All the vertices there. I will delete them. This times you can delete the vertex. Select everything, add modifier, mirror modifier, select clipping, and you can select this one so you see it better. Don't apply it at this moment. Now we have to go down with the size quite a bit. This here is only the chest. So when we look here, we go around the center of our shoulders. You can press S to change the size, and then X to only change the width. You can go around the center here. Definitely smaller here. Maybe around that. Now I go back to solid mode so I see better. You have to smooth things. Going to edit mode. And you can now, on the left side, you have the option to subdivide, so you can make even more polygons, making a more detailed mesh. Then you can smooth vertex, and you can quite smooth it a couple of times, so the sides are a little bit rounder. I have to go back to wireframe mode because of our planes. And now we have to shape this here. So because it got smaller, we are now a little bit out of the shoulder size. With man we can go quite high here. I will go down with this planes here. I can select. With C I can get a circle and just select the things I want to. So I will do the shoulder a little bit wider. With S I can SX can also a little bit change it. I go. No, I don't want you. Go a little bit down. No, let's make it like this. So men have a quite thick neck, and because of the muscles, if you really make a guy who has a lot of muscles, you can you don't have much neck for a man. So we already defined some muscles here. I think this one is a little bit too much. Let's select everything here. Let's make it a little bit straight here. Okay. And then this is a really muscular guy, but let's select the lines down here, and you know, we go a little bit smaller when we go down to the hips. Maybe like this. We don't need to go too much for a man. And even it out a little bit. So now we didn't do anything from the side view yet. So that's what we do now. And the problem, maybe we can do it a little bit thicker, but I will see at the end. So we haven't done much from the side view yet. So maybe we can have a little bit of thicker torso for a man. Definitely can have thicker torso. So now from the side we have a couple of things we have to think about. First of all, we want to have a natural pose, as natural as possible. We go a little bit into the T pose. I will tell you why we do that. Why we not go completely into T pose, but a little bit different. But anyway, we want the pose to be as natural as possible. And just for, otherwise, if it's not natural, your pose, you will have muscle deformations and things like that, and we don't want that. So now what we have to think about is that our spine isn't straight down. Our spine goes here on the shoulder, back, and then forward again. So we have to rotate our torso a little bit. So now the problem is I don't really know how much. Probably around 10 degrees is fine. And we go, of course, a little bit forward. Now, yeah, we can finish that later on, but now this part here is maybe a little bit too high. Maybe I will change it now. So we still have this area to be the highest. The muscles anyway come more from the arms, not from the front. So it's okay to be a little bit lower here. That's not everything. Our shoulders are not in the center. When you look at your body, they are a little bit back. We go here into edit mode. Sorry, wrong button. G-Y. I wouldn't say completely bad. Think about this line. Maybe around here is not bad. Again, I don't have a reference number, just you also have to see for yourself a little bit. Absolutely at the end, if you put more details in, you will see these things, but there is no perfect number or something I have for this part here, but just put the shoulders a little bit into the back. And that's for the man. For now, for the chest area and shoulders, I copied this for our female. So of course, again, our female isn't that big. It can small for sure go a little bit down here, so we don't have to think about these curves here right now. We just make the chest area without the breasts. I go definitely down a little bit. I think my head here is a little bit too small. I will change this size here. That's the X size. Also, with women, they are less muscular, so we don't have to. So we more go for the neck area pretty straight from the muscles, maybe a little bit higher. Just remember, this here is just proportions. We do more details later on when we work more on this character. For now we are just proportions, so it doesn't have to be perfect, but so we have an idea how much it is. I kind of want to bring her shoulders a little bit in. I think I overdid it a little bit. So, and I want to make her head a little bit bigger. So I made her head a little bit bigger. Let's go back to the chest area. Go into edit mode here. And now we want female characters to be a lot curvier, so we select this part here and do it. Go quite a bit smaller. We can even go smaller down here. Let's also change this one here so it's a little bit even. Under this, let's be sure that we only select the x-axis. And voila. And we can keep the same thing here. So because we have now here a big space, we can also add, if we want to, we can add a cylinder mesh. Cylinder, Alt G, we go into edit mode, we make it smaller, we move it up, make it even smaller, maybe only here, and we have a neck. So now also the neck, I will rotate it by 10 degrees forward, -10. I think could have been a little bit smaller. Maybe a little bit into the back. Something like that. So now we have the spine going back here and then going to the front again. With that we go back to our male character here. Now we will do the lower part of the torso. For that I will add another cube, Alt G, edit mode. I will do the same I did last time. Oh, of course, subdivide and subdivide, and yeah, what I didn't do now with the female characters, of course, don't forget to mirror the neck. We don't have to keep it complete, we only need one side, like here too, so can go quite smaller. I did it a little bit too early with the mirroring here, but it's okay. Let's maybe first do the size and then the mirroring. Makes your job a little bit easier. So with the torso we went a little bit under the third zone, so the third head size, because when we look at the shoulders we went down here too. So this one for man, it will end at 4. This is for 1 head, 2 heads, 3 heads, 4 heads down here. That's where the crotch will be. So we can stretch it a little bit. That's maybe a little bit too much. Something like that. Let's make the right size first. Yeah. And now we subdivide it, smooth everything. We already subdivide, like we did with the upper torso, and we take this part here, we do it around the same size. What you can do now is flatten it a little bit and go around the same size here. It's okay if they overlay, we anyway will put the torso together. And then here we will get quite smaller, because here will the legs start. So I think we can go even smaller with this one here. Maybe. Or we can go back. I went a little bit too far. I had the feeling this was a little bit too. So let's make it smaller. You are around the middle of this sector here, with this part of the torso, and our legs they will start here. So with men we can go a little bit thicker around the thigh, around the waist, but just a little bit, not too much. We don't want him so curvy like a woman. So when we look at him, he is quite thick. We can go smaller here, we can go smaller with the shoulders and things like that. That's what you have to know. That's how your character wants, how you want to see your character. So we now want to go a little bit back to the center. So I trim 10 degrees again. Around this. Now I copy this again and I will show you what you have to do with the female characters. Of course, go here into edit mode, and our female character, the lower torso part will end exactly here, so we can do it, make it quite smaller, just a little bit. Yeah, that's not bad. Then the upper part we also go a lot smaller here. And then you can give her quite a bit more of hypes than you would do with a man. You also can give here, push this one. No, it's more this one a little bit back, just to give her more curves around the tile, around the hype. Now that's the right English word. I would say we go here a lot small, also smaller. And maybe this here. Again, there are not any fixed numbers, so you kind of have to find out for yourself. But this here is more for the general proportions, not for exact. So what I will do now with this character, smooth this down here. We have to smooth this down. We add here our mirror modifier, so we have both shoulders. Here we smooth it down and go to edit mode. I'm pressing SAP. I will select one side. I delete the faces. Okay, that didn't work. It's not a problem. I will select everything, add a mirror modifier, flipping. And we go out. Maybe here we went a little bit, at least here we can go, don't want that, a little bit thicker. It doesn't have to be like a ball, like a skeleton. Let's move this here. Something like that. And I'm sure we can add, make her always a little bit curvier than she is now. She has quite bright shoulders. Okay, we go back to our man. Now we add the legs. First I add here a mirror modifier. Then I will copy this one here. I will go into edit mode and I kind of make this joints here. So the leg starts up here, and with a man we are almost tangent to the lower torso. Then I will add a cylinder, not here, I'm sorry. Going to object mode, add a mesh cylinder, Alt G, not here, sorry. Go smaller. This will be the upper part of our leg, and this will be actually, it's even better to first make the knee, so I copy that, I edit, I go down. I would say the knees are a little bit smaller, and for a man the knee ends on this line here. Now we can make our upper leg from here to down here. So we select our cylinder, edit, go a little bit. So it can be quite thick with that on the upper parts, and then slim it down. Down here. Yes, so now we can center this, of course in edit mode. Can here go back into the center. What we do with the knee is we are going a little bit forward, because again it's a more natural pose than just having the legs straight. So we have to adapt this here. Okay. And yeah, our mirror modifier, so we have both sides. Okay, here we don't need clipping here. I think we could even go a little bit further. It looks a little bit strange here. No. More like here. We will see at the end. So I can now select all these parts I made now. Don't want you. Shift D, and we will go to our email character. Let's first put this one here, the joints here, the right position. Again, here with female character, we can put more curves into the hypes than here, so we can go a little bit outside. Let's look from the side. Yeah, around here. I will position the knees, and they are already quite well positioned. This is our first plane, so the third plane, they start the knees. I think it's okay from the thickness here, because we come here a little bit thicker into the legs, and down here it's more or less okay. I want to actually put this one a little bit forward, but otherwise it's okay. It's okay. It looks a little bit strange now from the side. Maybe we have to give her a little bit more ass, to be honest, but that's okay for now. Then we go back to our man. I will copy this one here, and we make the rest of our leg. Let's again start with the joints. I would say this joints for the feet, they start a little bit, OG, sorry about that. Let's do that here. Maybe they start around the middle of this line. Yeah, I think that's not bad. Let's go in this direction from the side back to the center. So we have a little bit of curve. Here. Of course, this can be slim. I think we can even, it's maybe even good to show a little bit of the kneecap here. May help us later. Something like that. And here, this joint is a little bit too big. Maybe around this, so we can go down a little bit. That's fine. Then we can go to object mode, add another cube here, Alt T. We go into edit mode, we slim him down quite a bit, size it down like this. Make our feet here. Something like that. I mean, the feet and the hands, you probably have to do them separately because they are quite complex, so this is just, you know, a placeholder, so you don't have to worry too much about how it looks like. Of course, we add another mirror modifier. That's quite good. Yeah, the feet are quite small. Could be a little bit bigger. Okay. Then I take this free here. We do a similar thing with our women character. And yeah, that's more or less already pretty fine. There's not much difference, and because we have almost the same size, both characters shouldn't be. No, that's actually quite good already. I want to show a little bit knee. Something like that. And again, this is for proportions, not our final. So there will be a lot more things added. Smooth this here down. And now we come to the arms. Ooh, is this guy thick? And the legs are quite thin. Yes, of course, when we look at the legs, they wouldn't be cylindric like we did now. They will be have more muscles. I mean, these are things that as we add later on. However, this part here we could really do smaller, but it's okay for now. Now for the arms. Now when we look at arms, up to the start of the hands, we will really come down here, complete torso, and then we will add the hands. So now we don't want that here in Blender to put the arms so close to the torso, because we get problems with rigging if we do that. So we want to have the limbs and things like that, everything as far away from the body as possible. That's why all characters are always made in T-pose. However, if you look more at newer games and so on, they went away a little bit from the T-pose, and the only thing they did was just took the arms a couple of degrees down. The reason is, if you really go T-pose, and you can do it for yourself, you will see that the shoulder, it's not a natural pose. The shoulders they will absolutely the muscles, they will deform, and we don't want that, because then we have to create these deformations and so on, and it won't move down when we go down with the arm. So I will do kind of 30 to 45 degree with the arms. So now how can we do that is we go back to our planes, into edit mode. I can select this one here. I duplicate it. Let's press that. We go to our shoulder here. I will make this rotation of 45 degrees, maybe a little. Let's go for 30. Yeah, let's go for 30 degrees, and I will move it at the edge of our shoulders. And now I want again have this 26 centimeters we had before for our head, so we can measure, make the proportions for the arms. And now we have the problem, if I duplicate this plane, there is no reference in for the angle. I can't say, I can only go in X direction or Z direction or Y direction, but there is a way we can avoid this problem. So let's select everything of this plane here, and what we can do now is, instead of press duplicate it, just press E. With E we expand our plane to a rectangular, and it will automatically take an axis, and here we can press 26. So don't press the right mouse button, just press on 26 for the distance. So now the problem is we have a solid form. That's only a small problem. We can down here press on lines, so we can select instead of points these lines here. Let's select all 4 of them. I managed to do it, and let's delete them. Let's delete the edges, not the vertex or the faces, the edges. And now we have planes again. And I will do the same thing here. So we can go back. I'll just select it, come on. And we will do it again, E26. And delete these edges here. Not that one. Also not that one. Maybe I managed to do it. And deleted edges. So now we have 3 planes. We select our shoulder, we take our shoulder, and we again make the joints for the arm. So for a man, the elbow. So what we can do now, for have a better reference, we go back to our planes, select this plane here, let's go back to points, Shift D, make another plane, spin it around 90 degrees, and center it so we have here a line we can follow. Something is missing. Did I make? Yeah, okay, it's okay. So we take our shoulders, and for a man, the elbow starts, or the upper arm, we do start at the start of the shoulders and end it at the start of the elbow. When we look from the side, we again will go a little bit back, just a little bit. We don't have to go too far, so we don't have to be straight. Maybe I will delete this. Maybe we can go a little bit smaller for the elbow. Place it correctly. Let's look from, yeah, that's okay. And then let me see. I think I made a mistake. Would it be around here? I turn this around. Maybe. We can easily check that if this is correct where the hand starts. I go into here. I will expand this here. And now we see, I said the hands start where the crouch is, the rest is arm. So we have now a tangent here and a tangent here where the hand starts. So with that we can check easily if you are on the right, if you have the right proportions. Of course I won't keep that. So now we have shoulders, elbow, and the wrist of the hand here. This, I put it, that's not a problem. If you put it in the same thing, we want to have this separate. What I wanted to do was make this a little bit smaller. Okay. I will take this cylinder here, double, make a copy of that, and we will use this as our upper arm. Not 45, we took 60 degree around there. And now we just have to match here. And here, something like that. Maybe I made the elbows a little bit too big, but that's okay. And then we can, not here, back to object mode, select edit mode, select everything, we go down here, we make the rest of the arm pretty similar. Around something like that. Of course here we have to do the same. I hate that with Blender. You yes, so, and as again, hands are extremely complicated. You will want to do that maybe separately so you can really put details in it. So I will just take another sphere and put that at the end, just so we have a complete form. And with that we are more or less finished with our, now these planes are a little bit in the way, we will put them aside. What you see with the leg, you can go a lot thicker than I did, definitely. Absolutely with such a massive upper torso, but these are details. Like I said before, these are just proportions, so you have an idea where you're going with your character, how long the arms are, and things like that. It's not the final form. The legs you can make them easily thicker if you want to. And with that you have pretty good proportions already. And of course from here on you can go more into detail. And of course we have to finish our female character. The difference between women arms and men arms is with the men we took the start from the shoulders up to the end of the elbow as one head. Then we took the end of the elbow until the end of the wrist is our second head. So with females we do it a little bit different. We again take the start of the shoulders up to the end of the elbows, but then we take for the first head, but then we take the start of the elbows up to the end of the wrist as our second head. So their arms will be a little bit shorter. If you're not sure that you have the right size, you can again blow the shoulders up, and now should be the end of the torso should be a tangent with your shoulders, and the start of the hands should be a tangent of the shoulders, and then you're quite good. And you have the right proportions for your arms. And that's it. Here are our two characters. The proportions are finished, and we are ready for creating more details like breasts and things like that. Again, if you have experience in 3D modeling, or you're an artist and you think I did something wrong, or you have a correction, or you just want to add something to it, please do that in the comments, and you will help everyone if you do that. I hope this tutorial was helpful. If you have any questions, the comment section is open. You can send me a private message if you prefer that, and we will solve the problem for sure. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and I really hope this is useful for you. I like this method because you don't have to use any references, so I hope it also will help you in your work in Blender, and thank you for watching.